episode of The Human Angle. Thank God it's Friday. Weddings are fun and often a dream come true for many, especially women who have fantasized about that big day. She has every family member and well-wisher join her to celebrate a union. Usually on a Friday like this, if not for the pandemic, many would have gotten ready their attires, costumes, and ashoebi to rock the wedding party or wambe tomorrow. However, the wedding is often a blend of a different culture, and both the bride and groom often want a mix of their cultural styles infused into their weddings so that it becomes a festival. While the desire to have all the glitz and glam is on the increase daily and pressures mount from family and friends, there are ways currently being adopted to ensure one does not run into debt before the marriage begins. Some of these trends are no white weddings, no reception, and then the all-in-one day, that is, everything happens on the same day. On today's episode, we'll be therefore discussing the concluding part of the wedding series, that is the marriage, the future, and your pockets. In understanding the wedding event but ensuring you retain the marriage vision, know that your financial well-being after the wedding ceremony is very important. Hence, you need to ensure not to run into debt. In properly planning your wedding ceremony and ensuring it does not affect your marital life, you need to know that it's all about you, and when the new trends emerging, you need to avoid the pressures while celebrating the union and manage friends and family properly. Many couples dream of an ideal wedding that is glamorous, while others are comfortable with whatever they can afford. Having a fairy tale wedding is everybody's dream to impress friends and family. However, not everyone can afford it. Therefore, know your financial standing and stick to it, avoiding any temptation whatsoever to go beyond it. It could be financially prudent to make the right decision to downsize the event surrounding the day and work out a wedding budget that you can comfortably afford. Your family and friends will be happy for you. The bottom line is that you've achieved your goal and you're happily married and you're not into debt. Secondly, though a wedding ceremony creates great market opportunities for many entrepreneurs and service providers, such as wedding planners, caterers, photographers, and so on, it can also be a missed opportunity if it is not well planned and managed based on a strict budget. There's a tendency to go beyond your budget as a couple if you do not have a clear plan and if you do not know exactly what you want. The budget overrun could lead to taking a loan to satisfy your fantasy or keeping up with expectations. However, wedding loans are not good financial decisions, and it is not advisable to go into borrowing for newly wedded couples with average earnings. For instance, if one is taking a loan of 5 million naira at very high interest rates to entertain 400 people to eat, drink, and make merry, you barely would get up to 50% of what you spent in return in gifts on the wedding account. The implication could be a difficult start to marital life, with one burdened with early debts, and this will put pressure on the marriage early on. Some people argue that a couple may need to take a loan in order not to delay the wedding. The excuse of debt to fund a wedding is not valid. It is unwise to spend excessively to keep up appearances. It's not about the societal wedding ceremony, but life after the 1 or 2 day event, which is actually the marriage. The real challenge of a wedding is a marriage which can take a lot of financial resources to sustain. However, taking a loan for your big day can become necessary if you're sure that you'll be able to repay it. But before taking a loan, several things should be considered. It's very important to work out how much you can afford to repay each month, as this will affect which borrowing option is best for you. If you must take a loan, choose the right type of loan for your situation. In another option, you could also actually get financial support from your family and friends rather than going for a loan. In some parts of the country, it's also the responsibility of the families to get involved financially to support the couple, as the wedding is seen to be a collaboration between both families. Some parents go as far as getting gift items for the newly wedded couple to give them a head start. However, in the western parts of Nigeria, the richer family bears the lion's share of the budget, thereby reducing the expenses for the couple. The intended couple also gets support from friends and well-wishers. However, it's advisable not to rely on this. It is important to note that going into debt to get married is not a smart move, and the cost of happiness does not need to bankrupt you. Since marriage is a journey and not an event, going backwards to please the wishes of others should not occur at all. A major approach to wedding should be from the perspective of a brief event along the much longer path of marital happiness. Very early in the relationship, at the point of proposal and introduction, the couple must agree to hold on to as much cash as they can. Indeed, the target should be to conclude the wedding ceremony with a positive net cash balance or balance at the bank that meets a minimum of 3 months of cash flow needs. While wedding loans are not unknown and have in some instances become acceptable ways of achieving social praise and respect, nevertheless, marriage is not planted on fickle sentiments. Indeed, a wedding is a consummation of a social contract between two families and not a compact with a crowd of praise singers. Therefore, sticking to a life cycle plan for marriage allows each stage to evolve carefully to bring the couple to an expected goal of a happy partnership. A couple on the verge of a wedding needs to be sufficiently clear-eyed and disciplined to avoid cash outflows that can be averted. The more money the couple saves, the better for the marriage. Many couples have started marital life on a harsh note as they allow themselves to be sucked into high-cost festivities at the expense of their marital stability. The wise route to follow, therefore, is to opt for a lean wedding that is starting from the family introduction and ending with the honeymoon. The couple should stash up on cash or bank balances in preparation for the real journey, which is the marriage. Whether family and friends insist on extravagance, they should be encouraged to bear the costs. The primary concern of a couple after the introduction of both families and the acceptance of the traditional gifts and bride price of the receipts of the marriage certificate from the registry is the financing of the first year of life together as a family. The running of a small family can be confusing for a young couple, that's the truth. The way to start is to draw up a budget that covers your accommodation, the feeding, your clothing, transportation, if you have asset acquisitions, your pre- and postnatal care for the woman, and the crèche and insurance, that's life and property. Pushing these considerations into the future will not make them disappear. It won't at all. The best way to handle them is to prepare for it. A dual income family would generally find the responsibility of meeting the immediate marriage obligations easier to bear than a single income family. Nevertheless, both types of households will need to design expenditure and income templates that must guarantee fiscal stability in the first year as husband and wife. The best time to work on this template is before the wedding, so that required cash flows after the wedding can be anticipated and used as a guide for future expenditures. Indeed, the template would control the size of the wedding outlay and the preparedness to go overboard with meeting social expectations. A wedding should not be the enemy of the marriage. Weddings should not break banks. People should not be victims of societal expectations. The truth about marriage is it introduces changes in a new couple's financial situation that affects all aspects of their life together. Everything from personal financial goals to credit card debit will bring new challenges to the relationship. The new partnership also means new ways of managing personal finances, although many couples have questions about what to ask and where to start from. Understanding how to navigate through these changes isn't guaranteed to be easy, but planning can help you build a strong financial foundation for your relationship. In proceeding with a financial plan, one of the questions that should have been answered by the newly married couples on their finances is the decision to keep separate accounts, put everything into a joint account, or alternatively have a combination of joint and separate accounts. Whatever you decide is fine. It is an important issue to tackle as you begin your married life. There are some good reasons, however, to consider a combination of both joint and individual accounts. The joint account should apply to family expenses such as rent, utilities, bills, foodstuffs, and so on. Both of you can add funds to this account so that you each have a share in paying to maintain your household. Also, each of you should have an individual flexible account for personal spending of just for fun money. This arrangement can help simplify things when it comes to bills, yet it also helps keep personal spending in check without requiring you to compromise on your financial freedom. The key to managing money successfully in marriage is also good communication. Many couples find it hard to talk about money. which often leads to problems down the road. You may recall the stress that money can cause when you're single, so imagine how stressful it can be when you're married. Don't let small problems or assumptions go into large problems. From the outset, be open with each other and talk about your money concerns. If one of you is bringing in substantial debt into the marriage, do not hide it. Be honest and come up with a plan for paying it off. No two people have identical values when it comes to money, so open communication helps to identify what is important to each of you. Then you can make the best decisions about your money as a couple. It's also important to note that the journey of the rest of your lives as a couple really begins after the wedding. While the wedding is an event, the marriage is a carefully and in some cases carelessly designed series of activities that shapes lives. As a couple, if you want to successfully and joyfully spend a lifetime together, you must both plan your mutual path to happiness right before the wedding. The best way to enjoy a marital union is to take the pains of setting out a plan well before consummating the marriage. The precise and deliberate approach towards the marriage as well as the wedding would ensure that the day after the wedding fanfare will be just as exciting and eventful as the wedding. With a pre-agreed post-wedding plan, you could both settle quickly to meeting the goals set in your pre-wedding calendar. The schedule of events would include, but would not be limited to, the birth of a baby within a year if you so desire, and the preparation for the baby's crèche and kindergarten education and other expenses. You will need to arrange to acquire fixed and movable assets such as settees, smart TVs, refrigerators, air conditioners, and kitchen utensils. In addition, as a couple, you may decide that a car would be a useful asset to acquire early in the marriage as you share your daily commute together from the house to your offices. As a newly wedded couple, you would also do well to have a 5-year plan. The 5-year plan should be revised annually until completion, and you could decide that after the initial 5-year plan, another 5-year program or wedding milestone target is set. The rolling plan approach towards marital happiness and stability ensures that at each half-decade, the family achieves set targets and improves its standard of living smartly and deliberately. Overall, the success of a wedding is not a function of the number of people that attended the ceremony. Success is also not portrayed by the uniqueness of the bridal train and the sophistication of the dance steps of the new couple. The hallmark of a successful wedding is a solid post-wedding bank account, an intelligent first-year spending plan, and a life cycle model that guides a young couple's financial conduct. A wedding that leaves a couple bankrupt is the start of a turbulent marital relationship. Understanding the dynamic stages of a family's life cycle leads to the creation of a sustainable approach towards a satisfying, stable, and fraternal marriage. How well a marriage will survive the turbulence that life will present from time to time is a function of the preparedness of the couple to live within a disciplined framework of life, love, and work. From the cradle to the grave, the family must structure an intelligent response to life's uncertainties and expectations. For a marriage to be successful, the following takeaways must be noted. 1, the fact that a marriage is an event, and the wedding rather is an event, and a marriage is a journey. A marriage involves a life cycle plan that requires monitoring and control. Life cycles face disruptions but can be corrected using the S-curve framework we earlier discussed in the week. Saving and investments are a crucial part of a successful marriage. Number 5 would be that it is better to discuss the marriage before the wedding to avoid speed bumps ahead. Set family goals in 5-year cycles and monitor the goals by reviewing actual achievements against planned achievements. The achievements should be both monetary and non-monetary and revolve around work-life balance. And also you set out plans for children, schooling, education, that is of parents and even the children, acquisition of life skills both for parents and children, savings, investments, insurance, and pensions. Create time bonding to build family solidarity and mutual confidence and trust. For example, every other Friday could be couples night out to unwind and relive memories of younger days and keep the sparks flying. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of The Human Angle. You can send in your videos, pictures, questions, comments if you have any to programs@portrayed.com and business@portrayed.com. Visit our website www.portrayed.ng.com to get more information on your personal finance, the wedding reports, and updates from our news stories and videos. Also follow us on our social media platforms showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. In all stages in life, personal finance is a key issue, and it has been a wonderful week on the wedding series, learning about the wedding ceremonies, marriage, and finance. So if you enjoyed it, share it with others, and keep it a date with us next week on the program as we'll be bringing you a series on raising a baby. Till then, when I come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and bye for now.